Hello everyone, my name is Janino Dalo, together with Liza Magdamit, Majoy San Lucito, Billy Joel Yaguno, Sean Andre Archin, and will be presenting about the political self. So what is political self? Political self refers to a presentation of oneself about him or herself. Political position based on the interests and perspective of one's social organization. So, political self is that the conceptually discrete categories of inner and outer in reality constantly interact, shape, and inform each other. So, Kendall defines politics as a social institution through which power is acquired and exercised by people in the groups. Man in nature is political animal. According to Kendall, it serves as a mechanism by which individuals develop power and understand proper functioning of a democratic. So next would be Stevens, Anglin, and Jasin, 2015. So they define politics as a central component of their identity. It also organizes one's beliefs, attitudes, and affiliation and aids the processing of politically relevant information. Next would be Maria Serena Jokno, 1997. Political self and identity are developed through socialization, through the ways of people learn knowledge, norms, values, motives, and rules appropriate to their position in a group or community. So, according to Maria Serena Jokno, the political self is influenced and modified by the opinions, comments, and suggestions of other people. So that will be the end of defining political self. Next will be Mr. Yaguno who will be discussing about the political self theory. Thank you po.
Hello everyone, how are you today? My name is Billy Joel Yaguno. Our lesson for today is all about the political self theories. The first theory is the social learning theory. It emphasizes the importance of observing, modeling, and imitating the behaviors, attitude, and environmental reactions of others. Social learning theory considers how both environmental and cognitive factors interact to influence human learning and behavior. For example, is a children observe the people around them behaving in various ways, such as parents within the family, movie characters, friends with their peer group, and teachers at school. Second theory is the social cognitive theory. It emphasizes the learning that occurs with the social context. In this view, people are active agents who can both influence and are influenced by their environment. For example, individuals interpret meaning of politics and then choose and decide the actions they will make. Next theory is symbolic interaction theory. It is a perspective that sees society as the product of shared symbols such as language. The social world is therefore constructed by the meanings that individuals attach to events and social interactions, and these symbols are transmitted across the generation through language. Children develop their political attitudes according to the symbols and meaning that their parents communicate to them. An example is a dog. A dog may lick you to say they love you, to get your attention, to help soothe themselves if they're stressed, to show empathy, or because you taste good to them. And lastly, the political participation theory. Political participation includes a broad range of activities through which people develop and express their opinions on the world and how it is governed, and try to take part in and shape the decisions that affects their lives. For example, you are making your opinions known in a very obvious way with the hope that your actions will influence or initiate change in a particular area of politics. So this is the end of my report. I hope that you learned. Thank you for listening.
Good day everyone. I am Joyce and M. Lucito and I will discuss about origin of political self. First is family has a hierarchical structure through hierarchy position, status, and power. For example po, father acts as a leader and establish rules to maintain order in family. This shows that authority is necessary in the development of political self and identity. Next is school. The school's responsibility is to teach moral, spiritual, and political values that will help the students become patriotic and mentally upright citizens. Like for example, the Understanding the Self subject, GMRC and ROTC. The school is similar to family, where the teacher acts as the leader in the classroom that sets the rules and regulation to maintain order in class. Next is church. Help to shape ideals of citizenship and democracy through religious teachings, values, and tradition. So, church also had a big influence in molding political self, especially the issues about death penalty. As a Roman Catholic who believes that only God has the right to take, for He is the one who gave it. Next is peers. Interaction with the peers encompasses and emphasizes the equal distribution of power, rights, and privilege among members of the group. So the peer groups and social media affects how cultivate our political self. Just similarly in a way that we spend more time with our peers in social medias. The mass media, key to source of information are politics family, school, church, peers, and moral behaviors that influence political behavior and political self. So, dynamics of political expression on social media can influence not only political behavior but also citizens' more fundamental political concepts. Specifically, political expression on social media can entail a public commitment to a political self-presentation, which may lead individuals to perceive themselves as politically active, interested, and knowledgeable. And lastly, democracy, a government in which the supreme is vested in and exercised by the people directly or indirectly through a system of presentation, usually involving periodical held free elections. For examples, it fosters human development, health education, personal income, and any other indicators more fully than do other forms of government. And also, democracy helps protect fundamental individual rights and interests. Another example, democratic societies provide people the maximum opportunity to take moral responsibility for their choices and decisions. And democratic societies offer a relatively high chance of political equality, three major concerns in building an identity. And that would be the end of my topic. The next topic will be discussed by my group mates. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I am Liza M. Magdamit. I will be discussing the developing a Filipino identity, values, traits, community, and institutional factors. The three major concerns in building an identity. First, we have instrumental, an individual act in accordance with rules and identities consistent with supportive democratic processes. The second one, morals, values and beliefs embody and reinforce democratic principles. And the last one, which is transformative, includes process of self-reflection and redefinition of individuals, institutions, and communities. Filipino identity development factors which include personal characteristics and attitudes, institutional influences, macro factors at the societal level. Let us move on to the next slide, and we have here the Filipino culture. The Filipino culture is a mix of both Eastern and Western cultures. The beliefs and traditions of pre-colonial Philippines were mainly an indigenous Malay heritage. The Malay temperament is a basic factor of a Filipino personality. It can be best described as being nice and pleasant to others. The important role family in Filipino culture is stemmed from the strength of the Malay family clan that serves as a strong security unit. When Spaniards colonized the islands, Hispanic culture influenced the natives. Christianity became dominant religion and a Western-based social and political organization was established in the Philippines. The Americans shaped the modern Filipino culture, and this is primarily manifested by the widespread use of the English language in the Philippines today. It was from this influence that forms the Filipino character. Let's move to Filipino traits and values, which some of these are in the personal characteristics and attitudes. The Filipino hospitality, a Filipino trait that is known everywhere in the Filipinos brand of hospitality, respect for elders, example, mano po, constantly using po and opo. Wide arrays of references, kuya, ate, tita, and etc. Cheerful personality. Filipinos have a habit of smiling and laughing a lot. Smiling has been a coping strategy for many Filipinos. Example, maintaining positive outlook after calamities. Self-sacrifice. Self-sacrificing attitude of Filipinos can be seen as an extension of the Filipino hospitality. Example, OFW, modern-day Filipino heroes. Bayanihan. Culture that turns ordinary Filipinos into heroes. Spirit of communal unity and cooperation of Filipinos, helping others without expecting something in return. Example, in earlier days, when houses were made of lighter materials such as coconut leaves, bayanihan also meant helping one's neighbors move their house literally. Bahala na attitude, sometimes with matching scratching of the head. Filipino version of Hakuna Matata, a phrase originated from the Bahala na, meaning leaving everything into God's hand. Colonial mentality, regarded as the lack of patriotism and attitude where Filipinos favor foreign product more than their own, attributed to the centuries of colonization of Filipinos had experienced. Example, patronizing Hollywood films than local films, food products or Korean language than Filipino language. Mañana, habit, Filipino term for procrastination derived from the phrase called mamayana. Example, delaying of doing schoolworks. Pride. Most Filipino hold their pride as if they are precious than keeping a good relationship with family and loved ones. Crab mentality. This one is a toxic trait of Filipinos where one resents achievement of another instead of feeling happy for that person, bringing down anyone who has already achieved or is likely to achieve success that is greater than yours. The term for this behavior comes from the way crabs climb on top of one another to escape a boiling pot. feeling threatened by others' growth and accomplishments. Filipino time. Filipinos' attitude of arriving late at commitments, dinner, or parties, especially if they are meeting someone close to them. Let us now move on to institutional influences. They are the family, church, school, media, government, non-government, and people's organization. And finally, let's talk about macro factors at the societal level. Immediate community with which one readily identifies oneself. Less intimate grouping of which one is a member. Okay, so that's all about developing a Filipino identity. I hope you learned something and thank you for listening.
In conclusion to our report, the political self is that the conceptually discrete categories of inner and outer reality constantly interact to shape and inform each other. In simple terms, political self-concept may be defined as a set of beliefs about one's role, competency, and involvement in politics. Just remember, the factors that affect political self is education, gender, occupation, and especially family, which is the most important, because it's where all social and political processes are inherited since the birth of an individual. There is even a study in Harvard University that reveals that the family of an individual adopts and maintains political attitude even when the individual grows up to become an adult. That's why politicians, and especially industrial goods like Coca-Cola, where they bombard their advertisement even in school to make the children sympathize to their cause and familiarize their name and their brand to the children's mind or brain. And lastly, on how to develop political self. Number 1. Hone your power of perception. Example of these are managers. They are good at reading people nonverbal behaviors. Number 2. Think before you speak, because those are effective at exerting interpersonal influence on others that builds strong interpersonal relationship through establishing good rapport, communicating well, and getting others to like them. Number 3. Learn to network effectively. Leaders who possess a strong networking ability build friendship and beneficial working relationships by gathering supports, negotiating, and managing conflicts. Skilled networkers know when and how to leverage others to obtain the needed resources to accomplish both personal and organizational tasks. They are also seen as willing to reciprocate. Number 4. Be sincere. Politically skilled individuals display high levels of integrity, authenticity, sincerity, and genuineness. They are or appear to be honest, open, and forthright, inspiring trust and confidence. Sometimes being sincere to someone can make someone's day. And that's all. Thank you for listening to our report.